How we doing, fellas? Not feeling particularly ambitious today, so I'm only sorting through something I have very little of. The Dark. The Dark was technically released before I started playing. Most recent set when I started was Fallen Empire, so this is actually a little bit before my time. And in some ways it's kind of amazing that I have as much of it as I do. I know I've picked up a handful of Dark boosters. Why I bothered with it, I honestly can't tell you. I think I just bothered with it for the sake of getting it, you know? I put aside a handful of foreign cards with dark emblems on them because they're black border, and for the most part they're higher quality than all of my other dark cards. So I'm like, I don't know if they're from official foreign language printings of the Dark, or if there's something like Renaissance or something crazy like that. I don't know. I seriously don't know. So I put them aside, and I'm going to do some research on them at some point in the future and try and figure out what the heck is going on with them. And over here's a paper bag, because I forgot to put away the stuff I bought at the liquor store earlier today. Yeah, liquor store. That's just liquor. I don't even know her. Anyways, magic cards. You talk about alcohol and licking people off. Oh, aside. We got the Drowned. It's a 1/1 for a colorless of blue. Regenerates for black. It was reprinted with a different name in Invasion Block, where it was Metathran Zombie. So that's an interesting thing right there. Maze of Ith. This card used to be restricted. I don't know if it still is. This one's in a sleeve because it wasn't in terrifically good shape when I got it. I've got one other one hanging around here. At least one other one. So I've got at least 2 Maze of Ith here, plus I think I've got one in a deck somewhere. So I own at least 3 Maze of Ith. It's a good card, it really is. It doesn't produce mana. It's one of those cards that kind of led to the modern Mulligan rule, what originally was called the Paris Mulligan rule. The old Mulligan rule was if your opening hand was all land or no land. But unfortunately, when you had lands like Maze of Ith and whatnot, when your opening hand consists of like a Maze of Ith and maybe some other obscure card, other obscure land that doesn't produce mana, and like 5 of the cards, you just look at your hand and curse the very forces of the universe. That's a story for another day. Skull of Orm. 3 colorless artifact, 5 colorless tap, take enchantment from your graveyard, put it in your hand. This is a card that I have used several times over the years. I've tried using it in a black-red deck with enchantments to destroy as much stuff as possible. Black and to a certain degree red used to have enchantments that would destroy lands. I think red had an enchantment in there somewhere that would destroy artifacts. I can't remember. Enchantments that I could use to destroy creatures, etc., etc. And it never worked out too well because the skull is expensive to use. For a time I was using it to good effect in a blue-green deck, and I was using it with Second Chance, which is a card from somewhere in Urza's Saga. It's 2 colors and a blue enchantment. During your upkeep, if you have 5 life or less, sacrifice Second Chance and take another turn. And it worked great back when we had mana burn rules. Because if I had it ready to go, I had enough mana to do it, I'd be just like, okay, end of your turn, I mana burn down to 5. My turn, untap, upkeep. Second Chance sacrifices itself, I get another turn after this one. I've got 8 mana on the board, I pay 5, I tap the Skull of Orm, I get the Second Chance back to my hand, I recast it. My next turn, I call end of turn, I get my extra turn. Oh look, second chance goes off again. Yeah. These days, I use it in a blue-red Minotaur deck with Hesitation. It's a card from, I want to say Stronghold? Stronghold or Tempest? Can't remember off the top of my head. But, Hesitation was a colorless in blue for an enchantment that said, whenever a spell is cast, sacrifice Hesitation and counter that spell. So Hesitation was fun. I used it in a minute. I'm currently using it, in casual in a Minotaur deck with Didgeridoo. It's a Homeland's artifact, colorless. You pump 3 colorless into it to take a Minotaur from your hand, put it directly into play, which is fun because you're technically not casting a spell, so it doesn't trigger the second chance. So basically, your opponent's kind of screwed over on that one. It's a fun little lockdown. It doesn't work too often, but it's fun when it does. So anyways, Tiviter's Crusade, colors in double white for a sorcery that destroys all goblins. It's a cute little card. It's a fun little card. It's technically cheaper than Wrath of God or Day of Judgment. It's a tribal hoser. It's alright. Witch Hunter would eventually be reprinted in Time Spiral. 2 colors and double white for a 1/1. Tap for 1 damage to a player. Colors and double white and tap it to return target creature opponent controls from play to hand. That guy used to be so annoying. Just annoying. Preacher! Colorless double white, 1/1. Tap to gain control of target creature of opponent's choice. You lose control of that creature if creature becomes untapped. You may choose not to untap creature, untapped creature during your untap, blah 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 blah. The original wording is so hacked up. I mean, just bad. For instance, the last sentence on it: you lose control of the creature if creature leaves play or at end of game. I don't know what to say about that. Don't you? Yeah, I'm going to control creatures after the game's over. Hold on, wait a second. That's the only card I know of that, hints at the idea that the game continues on after it's over. I don't know. Alright, I won. The game is over, but I still control these creatures. So what? Yeah, I don't know what to say. Oh, wow. Whoever was writing the rules onto the cards at the time, I'm guessing just had real large problems trying to express ideas in simplest terms. Frankenstein's Monster! This is obscure. You can't get... I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I'm not even going to go into what the card does. Some of the fact that it exists is strange, because you've got a lot of creatures in Magic who trace their origins to mythology. You know, griffins, werewolves, banshees, zombies, vampires, etc., etc., etc. Frankenstein's Monsters as far as I know, it is the only creature in the game that traces its origin to a specific work of literature. rather than, you know, a work of literature that took an old legend then expanded on it. Like, for example, Bram Stoker's Dracula. The vampire legend had been running around for a long time before Mr. Stoker got his hands on it. The Dark Heart of the Wood. A card that would be reprinted in Ravnica for the Golgari Guild, as well as Elves of Deep Shadow, which I thought I had some of, but I don't see any around here. Either, if I own any, I must have them in a deck. I have a black-green elf deck hanging around somewhere. I'm not 100% certain where it is right at this moment. And honestly, I made a big boo-boo when I put that deck together too, because I put Savra, Queen of the Golgari, in there, who has two really nice abilities when you sacrifice stuff, and I didn't put a sacrifice engine in the deck. Yeah, go me, right? That's okay though. One of the cards from New Phyrexia, that green artifact with Phyrexian on its cost, that you can sack creatures to hunt up dudes with one higher converted mana cost and throw them on the field. I'm thinking that's looking like a good candidate. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now here's a fun thing. This is a lovely little combo that was in the dark. We had Merfolk Assassin, double blue for a 1/2, tap to destroy target creature with Island Walk. And Warbard, 4 colorless artifact. Pump 3 colorless mana into it. Target creature gains Island Walk until end of turn. If Warbard leaves play this turn, target creature is buried. Well, buried is an old game term for destroy without possibility for generation, for those who aren't into the know. But anyway, yeah, what I think is really interesting is both Warbard and Merfolk Assassin were reprinted in Time Spiral. I thought that was kind of funky and weird, and all sorts of other things. So anyways, I'm going to put these away. Well, finish sorting through them, put them away, blah, 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 blah. I'll keep these near it for the time being, because I don't know what to make of them yet. I'm thinking next time I have a day when I'm not feeling terrifically ambitious, I'll go to the other half of this little box where I've got uncards. Should also point out that while I'm looking at this, Laughing Hyena. This card was the first time I ever heard the 2 muffins in an oven joke. I thought it was amusing the first time I saw it. I mean, what can I say? Oh well. Be good, fellas. I'll catch you later. Oh, hey, gotta empty this memory card out, too. I got 3 minutes left on it. Oh, my God, Zars! Alright, be good, fellas. Have a good night.